GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
Experience the next level of imaging with Vivo X100 series. Pre-book now.
Hi Lijo, welcome to Galatta Plus.
Hi.
So Lijo, before we dive into Malaikottai Vaaliban, do a deep dive. But first I want to ask you a couple of things. One is, you have been around for a long time now. And your movies have gotten a mixed reaction. Some of them have been hailed, some of them have gotten other kind of thing. Why is this particular bout of criticism bothered you so much as
Which one?
for Malaikottai Vaaliban?
Malaikottai Vaaliban. See, Malaikottai Vaaliban is, I would say, is a very special film.
Right.
For a very simple reason that I have gathered like all those small things what I have experienced from my childhood.
In films?
In films, I would say mostly from films, the stories, what I've heard from my grandmom or around all those Amar Chitragadas comics,
Panchatantra.
everything. I mean, I would say that the references in this film you cannot count. That many references are there, because and when such an effort is taken, see, I wouldn't say that it should be like celebrated, but at the same time, when it is critiqued in, I would not even say that, it's critiqued. Criticism also is totally welcome. But this film, when it was released, the first 2 days of the discussions were in total wrong direction, I felt. And all the people, all the work done behind it were suddenly like out nowhere. There was only discussion about the worst Malayalam film ever made. So that really made me sad. And it's not just me, it's the whole team who had worked like day night for it from last 1.5 years. So normally I have never spoken, coming out and spoken about why you should watch the film. But this film, I thought, I have to explain it. Why the discussions are going in the wrong direction, why the critique is going in the wrong direction, why people should not be throwing stones at each other in the name of a film. I mean, it's all yours. I mean, you watch it, not watch it, it's all fine. But not compel people not to watch it. I mean,
that's what's happening.
Yeah, that is what is happening. When that happened, I had to come in front of the press and tell that, okay, this is not going the right way.
But what is this wrong direction you're talking about? What is...
See, I would say that when somebody watches a film, it's totally fine to say whether I like it or not.
Right.
But see, when the first 2 days of comments coming out, I would say it was, so I did not like it, so nobody in this country should watch it. Okay. That was the kind of attitude. So that has been happening since some time. And when like the other day, Anurag, I heard him saying that now every single person is a critic. So you don't know who's making a right comment, who's making a wrong comment. So the other day, one of our producers, he was saying that everyone comes to the theater to watch something on the big screen with a small screen, and to get the small screen moving, they have to make comments on it. So it's like a different world. And you know that in the theater, when you look at it, against this big screen, you can see small screens coming up. Each time when there's a moment. It's not about them capturing. See, we are mostly not witnessing things nowadays. We are capturing things.
Yeah.
We are more interested in capturing than witnessing an idea. Like, I felt that a lot of people are not even watching what is happening on screen. They are interested in about capturing what is happening on screen and commenting. How it is looking and all that. So it's a different direction altogether, I felt.
Right. Now, Lijo, let me play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Let me say, see, we are not a an extraordinarily cine-literate country, right?
Yeah.
So, do you think that sometimes it's also better to prepare an audience about what kind of movie it is? Because, for example, when you're saying a story of a warrior,
Yeah.
the immediate reference points might be something like Vadakan Veeragada or something like that, okay?
Yeah.
Or when you're saying Mohanlal in an action film, they might think of Puli Murugan or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that maybe some pre-release thing, this is the movie I've made, this is what it is, that might have helped a little?
Yeah. See, we had kept it all low, I would say. I mean, from the initial material which came out. But somewhere on the go, I mean, you know how these discussions shape and how it goes haywire. And since it was like Lalatan's project, so it got all the attention suddenly. Even see, people started creating stories out of the images they see from rumors which spread. So suddenly, when this actor is playing a part, suddenly he is double role. So a lot of things came around it, and we couldn't control it. That's what the right thing to say. And certain like a very harmless comments, like my associate told that okay, the theater will shake when he arrives. So such things just got exaggerated in amongst the public, which we didn't want, but when we couldn't
Can't control.
handle it. But a lot of things like that. But then we were trying to say that it is not at all a regular commercial mass film, as you would say. It is definitely a film which has a different terrain which you have not regularly see. So such things we had communicated it through material which went out.
Okay.
Like it was not the regular look. It was not the posters. Never had a character which looked like from a regular film. So, but you know, these films which had set up a history, like you know, like how Bahubali is. So suddenly, when you see a Raja or a slightly ancient-looking setting, you suddenly feel that it will look like Bahubali. But we were not trying to try it out like a Bahubali for sure. So, but that definitely, in some way has created this slow differences between people's ideas about the film, which we might have, we should have strongly said from the beginning. But when all the interviews our team gave, we were like strongly pointing it out that when it is like a Amar Chitrakada, it is not a mass masala film. So it has its own, you know, moments in the film. It has its own action blocks in the film. But it wouldn't be like a, you know, like it wouldn't be a film which runs on a Ferrari engine. It will be like, you know, a slow-paced film which slowly gathers its speed and momentum and enter into a much more faster pace towards the second half.
Right.
And the idea of the film itself is episodical. It's not even
like a chapter-wise.
Chapter-wise.
Yes.
You cannot call it a screenplay as such. It can be like divided and seen it as separate chapters, like separate films in itself. So all these, you know, at some point we lost it. So and the first 2 days of, you know, the fans who really love Lal sir, who really wanted to see him in a different avatar, and you know, the first 10 minutes or 20 minutes which I took to create the world, they felt it is like really slow. But when that is a way we can build the world, and because when it's not familiar at all for the audience, this place. So I have to tell that, okay, this is the kind of land it is, this is the character. Okay, each one behaves, and they use this language which is very dramatic, which is a bit of Tamil and Malayalam mix. So all this, now though it's picking up and people are understanding, okay, this is what we were trying to do.
Now let's talk about the movie. One of the very first image is that of this donkey around that thing that makes oil, right? What do you call it? In Tamil you call it a sek. I don't know what.
Yeah, chak only.
Chak only. Okay, yeah.
Chak we call
So that donkey is doing that thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like a. But what's most interesting about it is there is a frame there.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
kind of gives the projection of like a frame within a frame.
Yeah.
And you repeat this many times in the
Yeah.
movie. It's almost like pre-cinema days, it's like a stage kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Tell me about that decision and the decision to kind of have the Mohanlal's bullock cart walk into that frame with this donkey.
Yeah. No, the thing has been, we had planned a different set piece. We had planned the entire idea to start shooting in a different place. When I reached there, the set was not exactly the way it was. So we pushed that set for another sequence and came to this village. This is an actual village. And this house, which was there. So the initial day when I went to look for locations, this was one frame which I had clicked. So I said, we'll start from here. We'll place the chakra directly in the door so that when the donkeys can cross. And it gave me a very Clint Eastwood spaghetti looking, and I can see the road coming down from distance, and I saw that when we can place the bullock cart in distance, all that. So that is how we decided on that, and it instantly gives you that spaghetti feel to it, which is like a very Western dessert, and all that. Yeah.
Right, almost like there is something very ordinary happening, but then within that frame, something like extraordinary is kind of going to come. There's one thing that you really do here is play with a lot of wide frames.
Yeah.
That epic scope of things like what David Lean used to do. Like one of the most famous scenes of David Lean is that Lawrence of Arabia scene where Omar Sharif is coming in a distance, and he holds that shot till that mirage-like thing happens, and he's galloping and coming towards that well. Here, there is that. I got a similar feel. It's not the exact thing, but a similar feel where the first time you introduced Jamandi, she is. It's actually a bare landscape. But then slowly one person comes out, and then you think it's just her, but then behind her. There's a bullock cart and stuff like that. Did you decide that this whole film is going to be a series of wide frames like that, or were there spot decisions?
No, it was not. We had decided that we are going to use a lot of wide shots, just for the reason that the idea in itself is that of a Western looking film, but from our land, rooted very much with our characters and sitting around. So. There and of course, since we were shooting in Rajasthan, the terrain itself gave us that liberty, because when you look around anywhere, you can see the expanse of the land, which you don't see otherwise when we are in Kerala or any other place. Maybe in Andhra and Tamil Nadu, you get to watch such wide frames, but in Kerala, though, we don't get to see that every day. But when we reached Rajasthan, it was like, you turn this side, you get a wide. Turn this side, you get a wide. So, and it really added to the film it was. So that was also a reason.
So this was during the recce phase, is it? Or was it during the writing itself, you envisioned it like okay, I want this film to be like wide?
Yeah, in the writing stage itself, we thought of these wide frames, but we were not sure that where we were going to shoot.
Right.
We thought of Tilgana, we thought of Tamil Nadu, and then it was finally decided it was Rajasthan, just for the reason that we didn't want much green around. We want the place to look barren and all that. So that is how we ended up in Rajasthan.
Now, if you were to explain this story, how did it come about? In the sense of, there is this warrior, he's very well known, but inside him he's hollow because he's not getting the challenge that he wants. How did this premise come about? Like, how did you think of it?
Initially, I had written a plot, written a line that was for a Tamil film, but that was not in this kind of a setting. That was like a very realistic Tamil film set in a different time and all that. But then this project shaped. This project shaped, and when we had the discussions and all. So I just told this line, and suddenly it clicked for all. And I said, okay, let me just rework on the idea, just make it a little more.
What was your line?
The line was again the same. This warrior goes on from village to village. He beats up people, and finally he ends up like okay, I don't want to say that because it's connected.
Yeah.
He meets his father basically.
Yeah.
So that is how and I want to explain it again. The screenplay idea itself was set this way, that when you go from place to place, the audience travel from place to place. Whenever he meets a new character, audience also meet a new character, and his relationship with that character evolves in front of the audience, so that it is not like when people say that when there's no emotional connect. So I designed the character. Vaaliban is not an emotionally connected person. No, he has no connection with anyone. The only place where he emotes is where you see that he is emoting to INR, saying that I have no sense of, what am I going to earn?
Yeah.
So that is how it turns into something a little more emotional from that side. So it is not like we didn't want to put more emotional scenes in, but it's very character driven.
Right.
It is not a plot driven film mostly. It is, we are following just the character.
Yeah.
So whatever happens to him, we are seeing. Whoever meets him, we are seeing.
Yeah.
So whatever reply he gives, we are witnessing that. So it is in that fashion the entire idea is developed. Yeah, this is what you asked me.
Yeah. No, so that's what you're saying. It's he goes to this first place, and then when he goes to the second place, each episode, each chapter becomes bigger.
Yeah.
The first one is very quickly done to establish the thing. Then the second one is a little bigger.
Yeah.
Then the third one is like mega, like one intense set piece. Then the fourth one is a very emotional kind of ending to the movie, which is like almost like for me, it reminded me of one Talapati and Luke Skywalker finding out who his father is.
I'm of course fan of all these films.
Yeah. One question I had is, usually people like to end with a bang, with a physical bang. Kattappa stabbing Bahubali. Why did Bahubali kill Kattappa? The idea is to leave the audience with that physical adrenaline and high. You do the exact opposite. You leave them with an emotional high. This structure, tell me how it came about.
Okay, I'll tell you how. See, the initial, how it starts, how the film starts. Like you are meeting Vaaliban midway.
Right.
Somewhere he's been doing the same since very long. To introduce him to the audience. So, see, and a lot of people actually think that the intro of the hero means the intro of the actor. It is not that.
Yeah, he's there.
It is the intro of the character. So that is how this misconception happens. So you carry a baggage about how the actor had been in all his films and feel that okay, he should be presented that same very fashion. But in this film, we have a character which is like larger than life and is presented in a little more than a realistic way, more dramatic.
Right.
I would say it's the most dramatic, I have presented a character because it requires that kind of a presentation. There you see him throwing a stone slab across the vast space. And from there, you know that he is not a very normal human being. He is of much, much larger power. As you move forward, you understand the ways he travel, his womanizing. He has relationships here and there. You get to hear that from the other woman. She says that you have women waiting in different lands. I know. He says that you are my favorite. So he seems flirty. So it's like slowly builds into the next level where, what could actually change his face. Like a villain who picks up a small fight and makes it the biggest of his life. And Vaaliban's life, of course, how it moves. So basically each place we have made his character and the situation a bit larger.
Yeah.
Like the next phase, you get to see him pull down a whole tent.
Yeah.
Which is a larger act.
Yeah.
And the very next place, what you see is you see him pulling down two huge stone pillars and breaking down a whole fort. So it's like in the style of a very hero we all know in books.
Yeah.
It's just
Like Hercules.
yeah, it's
Samson.
just that.
Yeah.
So I have taken references from all over. So I have taken references from a Karnan. I have taken references from Beam. I have taken references from Hanuman and Hercules and Samson who pulled down the pillars. So it's like a mix of all those pieces from around the globe. So that is why these kind of detailed things we worked on. Suddenly when it just was missed. So I definitely was slightly emotional about this one. That's all it was.
Right, but the decision to
Okay.
have
Yeah. So I missed it. So then, so why this emotional fall just after the large set piece, which happens between the fort and the firing and all that.
Yeah.
So after that, you get to this very strong space where suddenly Vaaliban realize, okay, what am I actually doing in life? He just tried to explore that from INR, and INR gives him the story of his birth and how he was traveling and all that. So now, according to me, when you reach at this point, Vaaliban himself believes that he don't have anybody else to fight. This is the biggest challenge he ever had. And I feel that the only thing he can fall in front of is an emotion, is in front of his own mind. And I wanted to create that space, which is again, I created it like all the other pieces. Like our writer Rafiq is a major person to build all this, because the kind of writing involved. Because it cannot be too philosophical and too jargonic. At the same time, it cannot be too present.
Yeah.
So it should be a mixture of both. He has only written the lyrics of the songs. He has his own compositions, a few of them. So basically, when it came to this place, so we decided to go very classic in terms of like how a Shakespearean story would evolve. Like it can be just a misunderstanding, which will take the story in such a way that we will not expect in such a film. We will expect it to be a hero winning over a bigger opponent. So it can be the smallest of things what can just make him fall. At the same time, we just try to blend in the villain who was following him into it, so that it made the entire idea more dramatic. So we placed people in such places that as audience, you feel confused. And the entire idea was built into such a crescendo, like with sounds and music and all that, and drops into complete silence. Where such a film should actually blows out its horns out. We came to a point where it is complete silence.
Yeah.
And to make everyone in silence to feel what Vaaliban feels at that point. I feel that is the best way to end this kind of a plot, this kind of a character. And it's not the end of the character, I would say.
Yeah.
It is the realization point of the character.
Yeah.
Where he understands, okay, what many wars fought, many Satyam Paladu, Yuddham Paladu, there are wars which I cannot win with power. So that is how we end that piece. I feel that this is the best closing we can give for such a film than just keeping one more fight, which people anyways know that he's going to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it should not be that.
Right.
It should be something else where people are just taken aback. And we of course have a extension which gives you a new character which you don't expect to turn back, and the death of the most important characters in the film. So all this brings you to a climax which you never expected.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. When you speak about the villain, what made you say Danish Seth is the person I want to cast as the villain?
No, there is again, nothing like that. It is just Danish was the one who came to my head when we were writing it.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt it should not be like a muscular guy. It should be like the smallest of guy but with his attitude, he should always look dangerous. And on the go, you feel that creep whenever he appears. You know that he's on to something.
Yeah.
So his character also is built like, again, a Joker reference you can see.
I felt he was like a snake.
Yeah, a jackal, I would say, a hyena who follows you and never leaves you.
Yeah.
With whatever it happens, he is in there.
Right. So when you narrated the story to Mohanlal,
Yeah.
what was his reaction?
I would say, I am the worst narrator on earth. So we had like a few narration sessions before also of different plots. But at that point, though, he felt that this is never going to happen because there was no plot only when I explained it. So this time, at least, he instantly connected with the idea and character it was, and he somehow felt that I'll be able to pull it off. So that's how it started off. And we discussed about the samurai culture. How those folk tales are. How we have characters like that in our country, and how we all love cowboy films. And we wanted to make a film so unique which combines all these elements, which the present cinema don't see at all.
Right.
You don't see a Western film anymore. Before I have seen cowboy films from Telugu and Tamil long back.
Yeah. There was a director called Karnan who made these films. Yeah.
So we used to enjoy all those films. I used to enjoy them in the theater. When I used to be a big fan of, when there was a film called Thangamalai Thirudan, Chiranjeevi. So all those films, a lot of them actually. And I have enjoyed MGR films at that point. Like all those like very peculiar, larger than life imagery and all those films I used to really love. So this will be like a kind of tribute to all those films, I would say. Surely, when Shan, any of those films.
Yeah.
Which
even the Shaolin films.
Yeah. All those like Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee.
Yeah. One of my favorite shots is that pole is inclined and he's standing on that, right?
Yeah.
That was like right out of a Shaolin film. I was reminded of all those. When they would not use special effects, they'd fight with sticks or, very basic stuff.
Right.
But the fight itself would be incredibly choreographed. So, like 36 Chamber of Shaolin.
Yeah.
All those kinds of films. Yeah.
Gladly, we got somebody really good and patient when Vikram Moore was there for all the fights. Climax was Supreme Sundar Master. So it was like amazing people around. So we have to, being a director, designing a structure, a vision design is what we do. And these people, when they're around, it's much easier. And they'll take care of all those worries.
Right. How did you come up with that design of that multiple cannon thing?
I don't know. It was like,
is that a reference to something or?
No, nothing actually.
Okay.
We get to see all these guns. So we have reached a point where we don't have anything else to design. Either we like put more guns around. So we were thinking of this cannon fire sequence. So then I was thinking, okay, can we put these cannons in such a way that when it looks 360 around, and if we can like turn it around, and then Gogil Das, our art director, he's been there since a few films of mine. After Angamali Diaries, he joined. Jellikattu, Churuli, all these films. He just, we had people, they made a design, but the problem was, you have to stand in the center, it has to like rotate. And so when we entered the fort, I saw this huge tower. So I said that we'll try to place it there. So we opened the door and went inside, and we placed it there, and turning it is like so difficult of a thing. Na? You cannot like turn it.
Yeah.
So the pipes are not heavy, but when welded together, you cannot turn it like smoothly. So somebody had to lie down under that, and he'll just do this, and later we rubbed it off. Right? It's like a lot of things. But when this was like, you instantly get that like real heroic image of.
Very high. It
Yeah,
gives you a high.
yeah.
Because see, the other thing is also this film, even though it's taken from various movies, you also present it like it's almost like everything is heightened, right? So there's an element of people in a play, like like the way they speak, the way they, like there is a certain, like for example, especially the Macaulay and that lady Macaulay,
Right.
They are like caricatured villains, you know.
Yeah.
They are not like normal people. They're like they're just having a great time hamming it up to the thing. That pitch of performance, was it always like?
Yeah, it was always like that. See, basically, when it is more of a drama than a film. Like, when
It is a stage thing.
Yeah. So I wanted to get a look of the very stage drama kind. So the performances, the language used is very dramatic.
Yeah.
Like even the dialogues, when you look at it, it's very dramatic.
Right.
And that naturally will give you a sense of time also.
Yeah.
So you suddenly feel that when you're not in present.
Yeah.
So,
You feel like you're in a time before cinema was invented.
Yeah. All that came into picture, and you have this in say you spoke about Vadakan Viragada, so where you get a narrator, who comes in and tells tales about how the hero is, and he won over a lion, tiger, and all that such stories. Mostly like exaggerated ones. It's about all the places and heroes where we travels. So it was designed to sound like that. So when people said it sound very dramatic, that is how it is supposed to sound.
Yeah, that's beautiful because you've made a film that is actually a tribute to all the films that you've seen.
Yeah.
But it sounds like and plays like something before cinema, like the traveling drama troops. Used to go around that kind of play, and that's kind of incredible. One thing that really intrigued me was your use of time in this, because there are different ways in which time is used. One is the time of each episode. For instance, you begin with a short episode, a longer episode, an even longer episode, and like that. The second thing is use a lot of slow motion. It almost gives a sense of expanding the thing. Tell me about that.
See, why high speed shots in this film is like you are anyways in this space which is like slightly beyond your sense of time. So
Right.
slightly ancient.
Yeah.
And the language and drama what you see is slightly over exaggerated. The dance, the costumes around, and we don't define the time and space you are in. You get to see Portuguese army, but you don't know whether they are Portuguese.
Yeah.
We just are familiar with the costumes and look of them. That is why we feel that they are Portuguese. So you see a fort, you see a bullock cart, you see a drama company. So all this gives you a sense of like a different time. So when it comes to action pieces, I wanted to make it more dramatic.
Right.
So the drama will come in only with the high speed shots involved. So each place, when we try to make use of the technique we have, and I don't have to explain how Madhuchetan has captured the film. So it is definitely beyond what I have thought in my head. So that gives and the high speed, definitely high speed, and the music, and we have actually used dialogues also from, say, what Rajni sir has in Bhasha, like Konjwange Par. So such things we have just picked up.
Right. Since you spoke about Madhu Neelakantan, and I want to know what was your brief for Madhu and for Prashant Pillai, the composer?
No, we had these keywords definitely like spaghetti, like large frames, wide frames, and such keywords. So we definitely had. But with Madhuchetan, though, it was like we were continuously traveling and seeing the location. So each scene will not be discussed in a very formal and what do you say, textbook way.
Yeah.
We will be like adding on small things as we go on. So by the time we shoot a scene, we'll be like in place.
Right.
Okay, this is what we are going to do with this sequence. Certain sequences we took ideas from the stunt choreographers and how the dance choreographers. So each thing we try to like add to the kind of ideas we had.
Right.
Yeah. And oh yeah, with Prashant. With Prashant though, it's much easier for me because we've been discussing music since like all these years. So we have our own library in his. So a lot of tracks and things in this. At least there'll be like 100 pieces which is like set aside, like different thing. So we always had definitely the Clint Eastwood zone, the whistles, the harmonica, such things involved, and the guitar. And so we try to blend in all this with 70s drums, and you know that Jankar beats, Helen kind of song zone. So all these things slowly shaped into something, and the flute piece which will sound wicked, the old Snake Charmers theme, like what we used to listen in Nagina and Nagin and all that, which instantly gives us a very
he's a bad guy.
Bad guys thought, no. So all this put together, but the actual music sounding we decided just before, the sounding. How you want to hear it. So we tried to make it sound like 70s and 80s, like slightly, more stereo than like surround and all that. So the songs and all songs, so a lot of background pieces, you will hear it from front,
right,
than sides.
Right. One thing is the songs themselves. They are not treated in a very stylized way.
No.
For example, that romantic duet, which is silent, that is, they're not lip
It's in their head.
It's in their head. Between Jamandi and what's the boy's name?
Chinnapayan.
Chinnapayan. Yeah. In the world of this film, that stands out as a very. I'm not using conventional in a bad way, but relatively conventional romantic duet. So what made you say there are certain parts of this film where I'm going to stick to convention and not stylize it into a different thing?
So like you said, this was again a tribute piece. Like, there was this song called Kanana Chai Ladu Mekan, which is like a very popular song from a film called Raman. Raman, and it was a poetry piece. So when we were discussing what kind of a song we'll have it for them, so then we decided, okay, let's take people back to an era where we used to have these kind of songs. Instantly people should connect with that time and the romance. How it used to happen back then. It was like revolving around a tree and such kind of thing, and just looking at each other. So initially we were planning to have more cuts in the song. Then as we shot it, we felt that it gives you a nice, good feeling. And when we were shooting that song, we shot it over 2 nights, I think 2 or 3 nights. So it was all night, and it was like such a windy night. So we were not able to hold the balloon, and balloon was flying off. You cannot imagine if the balloon flies off. Like 10, 20 people are holding it, and in the wind we are shooting this. So what such amazing experience it was, like shooting the song. And see, of course, when it came to the film, so a lot of people, when it was released, they instantly said, okay, it sounds like Kanana Child. Is it a like rip-off of the... Of course, it will sound like that, because the lyrically also we have used words like Adil, Adumekan and all that. Yeah, that is why.
Right.
It
Have you seen this film, Kappalotiya Tamilan?
No, I have not watched, but I know the film.
Right. But because there is a similar song with Gemini Ganeshan and Savitri around a tree. It's Katri Vedai Kannama.
The song though I know.
So it's kind of like gave me that feel. So that's the magic of this, right? Because certain things are replicated across so many films that even if you don't catch it from one film, you probably catch it from another. This kind of this one. So
no, those kind of songs, I would say that it was across India at that point. Like very minimal orchestration, like a basic harmonium will back it, and a bell will support it, and such kind of things.
Is there something called the Lijo Joe's Pellissery style? I'm trying to, because I've seen all your films. The one thing that obviously the cliche thing to say would be expect the unexpected. You're like, you never repeat styles or ideas or whatever it is. But most filmmakers, when they have a signature, like you look at them and you know that this is somebody's film. I'm not able to place a signature to your films.
Yeah.
It's probably a good thing.
I'm happy that
Yeah.
you're not able to.
Yeah, because you make, first of all, the themes, and Imayao
Yeah.
looks nothing or feels nothing like Angamali Diaries,
Yeah.
which feels nothing like Jallikattu,
Yeah.
which is so different from Churuli.
Yeah.
You also like to go into bits of absurdist, spaces.
Right.
But what is that unifying Lijo thing?
No, I would say there is no style as such, I would say, because the things and all these small things which I gather on the go. This film, I would say, is like what I've gathered from since my childhood, I would say.
Yeah.
So it's like that. It's not mostly just a style which I am creating myself. It is the styles which a lot of people have created,
Right.
which has influenced me from time to time. Which at some point I feel that okay, this is what I should place it here.
Right.
And I strongly believe that there is nothing original. No one is making an original film.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
always that way. So.
Yeah. Yeah, but what I mean is, when I see like a Nanpagal, and when I see Churuli, and when I see Angamali, and when I see Malaikottai, if I didn't know they were made by the same director, I would
Yeah.
probably think they were made by different filmmakers. So just to kind of delve a little bit into
Yeah.
this, when you envision Nanpagal,
Yeah.
there also you have a lot of drama, theatre, and all those
Yeah,
things going
yeah.
on. How did that come about?
See, Nanpagal is a little more personal, just for the reason that when my dad used to run a theatre company, and I have traveled with them when I was as a child, like when coming back from hostel in the vacations, and I used to travel in the bus and all that. So wherever they put up a set and start playing a drama, and from there we wrap everything and go to the next location to do the play again. So I've seen that life. So it's a little more personal to me, I would say. Those images definitely more coming from those times.
Right.
The kind of life they have, slightly in the gypsy zone, and how they all function like a family.
Yeah.
And all those small errors in between, small fights in between, all
Yeah.
that, are from those times. The Velangani trip itself is our drama company with their families going to Velangani and coming back. So a lot of things like that.
So would you say that all your films are, the one thing that unites them is they're all personal in some way, that drawn from memories or film references or something like that?
Not necessarily all of them are personal, but mostly if I've picked an idea from somebody's actual event, like an actual incident which somebody narrated me. Also, then I add a bit of drama and cinema to it to make it look very personal. So that though definitely I keep doing, and the influences come from everywhere. I would say that Nanpagal is definitely from a TV commercial I had seen very long back when I used to be in my MBA or just after MBA when I was doing an internship there. But at that point, when the idea was not this, it was for a thriller. It ran for years in my head, and then at some point, okay, the dots get connected, and you get a different frame for the film,
Right.
with your own personal experience added to it.
Right.
So I would say that Nanpagal came just after me going down on a very depression state.
Okay.
I was anxious for some time. So coming out of that, so I could connect this idea into a very emotional piece. So which I would say that there is a lot of personal me in there, the character, in the way he emoted and all that. So each time, so Imayev is definitely what went into in my head when I was facing my father's passing away. So how a personal touch of yours adds to your film, I don't know, but each time it happens in a different way.
Yeah. What about Double Barrel?
Double Barrel again is like I'm a big fan of comic books. I mean, I used to like
Because
when I was
that
in the
film is
hostel.
very similar to this in a way.
It's in a different plane. This is more of a very I would say that is very Western in look.
Yeah.
And this is very Indian.
Yeah, but
in look,
the
very rooted.
spirit I'm saying, yeah.
All the plot elements, all the characters are rooted in our country.
Right.
And the setting is slightly spaghetti. Setting is slightly our Amar Chitrakada.
Yeah.
So it's presented in slightly in a different zone.
Yeah.
And more seriously. That was like a total funk and
like
spoof,
a
playful and spoof zone.
Yeah.
That's all the difference was.
Right. When you wrote this story with Rafiq, or when you discussed the story with Rafiq, did you both say, let us try and break the structure of a typical warrior story?
That just happened. We had a lot of other pieces to the actual script, which were much larger, which were much more exciting. So that is why I'm saying that we have not finished telling the story. So we have larger pieces, more exciting elements to this idea, which we couldn't place it in the story because it was already going on and on.
Right.
Because a warrior on his journey is just a line, and we can add any number of fights to it, any number of characters, any number of elements to it, which is more larger than life.
Yeah.
So I would say that when we enter if we could enter the sequel or prequel, it would be larger.
Right.
Naturally, it would be larger. The characters would be larger. It won't be grounded as you see in Malaikottai Vaaliban 1, I would say. So that would be much more in a different plane, and again rooted in a very Indian terrain.
Right. Now, there is this, one of the traditions of Indian masala cinema is to have one dialogue that is repeated many, many times.
Yeah.
Here, there is that famous line that
Right.
"Kan kandada nijam, kanadada," that
Yeah.
what the eye sees is
Yeah.
is the truth, and what you don't see is the thing which is completely reversed at the end.
Yeah.
Tell me how you came about this line.
This was like, there is this novel which is like a very supposed to be the most iconic Malayalam literature novel, which is not in this zone, by the way. It is like a very serious Ghazakinte Ithihasam, it is told as O.V. Vijayan. So in that, there's a character who says this dialogue, just kan kandadu nijam, kaanadadu poi.
Oh, he says that same thing. Okay.
So while we were writing it, there is this slight Zen-like quality for the character. He's slightly philosophical. At the same time, he's a warrior. All that. So we just placed that line and we extended that line. So which shaped into this. And reversing it was actually when Lal sir was dubbing, that was his suggestion. Suddenly, instantly, it looked like grand, because when it just came into a full circle, it looked like. So that is how we took the other option also, like reversing the whole idea.
Right. When you discuss the characterization of this person, of course, Mohanlal has acted in tons of movies. He doesn't need to be taught how to act, but still, in such a special stylized film, you must have a meter or a pitch in which you want the performance, right?
Yeah.
So what was that discussion like?
So we wanted it to look dramatic for sure.
Right.
Like each character were presented in a dramatic fashion, but not to the extent that you feel it is funny. So there is that borderline where you know that okay, it sounds funny. So you can keep it a little lower than that.
Right.
So each time when there is a serious discussion happening, so you can go funny in places like say Agatare. So that is like an interesting place where you can play around with the idea of being dramatic.
Right.
On the stage, you can play around with the idea of being dramatic because it's already a play, what is happening on stage. But when INR and Lal sir speak about a very serious past. You cannot be dramatic as. So we have to just keep it in balance. So which all the actors, when I didn't have to like really work around it, they were all really great actors.
Yeah, and I like that the way that last scene unfolds with the funeral pyres,
Yeah.
the burning things, and they're on opposite sides.
Yeah.
And when you see that on a widescreen, it's just like there's so much more even physical distance
Yeah.
between them, along with that emotional distance.
Yeah, yeah.
There's like you almost like how are they even hearing each other?
Yeah.
You know that was that effect that came across very emotionally
Yeah.
at that point.
The treatment of the sound, the dialogues, we decided that this is going to be a dramatic film. This is going to sound dramatic. So the voice is going to treat it like it's projecting out of the screen.
Yeah.
It is not going to be a realistic sounding,
Yeah.
like you won't hear it kinds. You will hear all the dialogues.
Yeah.
And you will hear it like a drama,
Yeah.
like proper, like two characters in a story speaking to each other.
Yeah,
Kinds.
yeah.
So that is how it was treated. So that credit completely goes to our sound designer Ranga, and mixing what is done by Fasil. So amazing work from their side. Yeah.
There is one other device that you and your screenwriter use in this, which is to use a fable
Yeah.
to kind of hint at a real life quality. Like for example, at first she talks about the man who leaves on the horse,
Yeah.
and then when that fable is enacted on screen,
Yeah.
it is actually these two people right there that is enacted, right there. And at the end, when that trans woman Tenama,
Yeah.
she narrates that fable first about that love triangle,
Yeah.
and that puts the seed of doubt in
Rangarani.
Rangarani. And she then kind of, it's almost like she's manifesting it.
Yeah.
She's kind of like, I want to believe this, so this is actually happening, and that's what she sees happening.
Yeah.
How did those bits come about?
These are the references from 1001 Arabian
Nice,
Tales.
yeah.
So you know Vikramaditya Vedal. So all these plots, they have these characters who puts in fables, and within the fable you will go into another fable.
Yeah.
Like you know how a jinn tells a story, and in the story there are three characters. In one character would tell another character a different story.
Yeah.
And so there are these layers which goes in deep inside and inside in Arabian Tales, where at one point you won't even remember where we started. So I have just used one or two layers to use the technique. And you know how definitely how Othello would doubt his wife.
Yeah.
For simple reasons. So it's the same thing which happens in Vikramaditya tales also, in Arabian tales
Yeah.
also. These are tales which are rooted in our own culture, so that we remember so much.
Yeah.
So we suddenly connect to a neighbor telling you a story which is actually not there,
Right.
about another neighbor.
Yeah.
That kind of very relatability is more for such stories.
Right. The Tenama character,
Yeah.
does she tell this fable to her mistress
Yeah.
in order to save her from heartbreak?
Yeah.
Or is she doing it like Iago in Othello
Yeah.
to instigate to get a plot started?
See, for Tenama, I would say Tenama is a true, companion of Rangarani.
She wants to protect her.
Protect her.
Right.
At the same time, she don't want her to lose Vaaliban for whatever reason
Yeah.
it is. So when she says that, okay, what do you think? When there is no reason, I see that why would he just not take me as his partner? So then Tenama is like, Tenama wants to give a reason.
Yeah.
And she wants to believe that this is the only reason I see.
Yeah.
And you see an image which you want to believe, okay, now there is a connect. So it is just that I remember this film which was there, Baradan sir has done, just called as Vengalam. Vengalam has these characters of Manoj K. Jain and Murli Chetan, has Urvashi in the center. So Murli Chetan marries Urvashi. And long back there used to be a custom in which when both the brothers marry the same woman to keep the family intact.
Right.
So that was the so all this ideas which could fit into this plot, no? Which we have taken and seeded or planted inside this,
Right.
which made it more emotional, I would say. And the emotion grows only from the point where Vaaliban breaks out his emotion and how you see everything changes around.
Right. Tell me about your use of color.
Yeah.
There's a yellow stretch.
Yeah.
There is a red stretch. There is a, so there are different, there's a brown stretch. So was it something that you envisioned at the writing stage, or was it during the shooting that you kind of...
Not exactly, not at the writing stage. So as we started shooting and when we started seeing the images after shooting, so we started figuring, okay, this is the place which we can slightly take it in this zone, so that when most of the people were wearing no whites, just muddy and sand textured clothes and all that. Less of colors in the first block.
Yeah.
And slowly as we move into the Matangi's place, you see lamp lights and more of warmth in the indoor warmth. And Rangarani Ito again is like so we add colors to see. As we went further, as we saw colors, we made it wider and added more colors to it. And since I'm a very colorful person, so by then we reached the and the nights too, I have to say that. So when he lit up the whole place with balloon and nights were looking such amazing places to be, like literally from a postcard. That's how I would explain his images.
Yeah.
How he created those images. The Haldi festival image, one video I had seen back then. So I thought this would be grand to...
That horse festival.
Yeah, Marathi, the Maharashtrian one festival is there, Haldi festival, where they throw all the Haldi around. So that too we brought in, and the horses from our culture of the temple festivals and so such things we blended it in, and the mask was a last moment decision, and we made so many masks and just gave everyone these masks. So to make it look more like the last minute, that suspense and mystery through the characters.
There is this extraordinary sequence. It's a flash, but when you have the slaves running out of the prison, you use a dissolve.
Yeah.
It's almost like generations of slaves are like running outside, because you're not seeing them as individuals, but like almost like ghosts or spirits or something like that. Can you just tell me what that thing was?
That was just our editor Deepu.
Yeah, he just decided to...
No, when he showed me itself, I had the same feeling. So I said, this is like kick-ass. Suddenly it gave you that, all the slaves from generations, like when you get that ghostly feeling of them running into the courtyard to get shot again.
When you have a movie like this, which is episodic, you are titling it obviously like chapter.
Yeah.
How did you decide on the names of the places? Each Uru's name, how did you decide?
No, so few names were already there when I had written the initial line. So just wanted something very fancy and would sound like ancient. Like we would name a place like, because we saw a tiger in that place, we'll call it Puliyure. So I was trying to just mix and match between those kind of names.
Right.
Like Mangombodinur, like when deer's like the horn
antler,
is broken. That's why we call it Mangombodinur. Another place Adivaratur, because it's on the valley. So like we mixed and matched a lot of names like that. So each time it then Nurana Talayur. So it's things like that.
Right.
Which would suddenly make it sound very ancient.
Right.
So that is how we decided, and Rafiq though is like a master of like creating these vocabulary of new words.
Right. So when you talked about that Haldi festival from Maharashtra, is
Yeah.
that how that Lavani dancer also came in?
Yeah, no, Haldi, not Haldi festival. The that is the Lavani dancer is in the first mile song.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
I'm saying that influence because it's like,
No,
how
no,
do you,
no. I-
like in this environment, how do you suddenly get a Lavani dancer, right? It's just
No,
like it's just
no,
part
no,
of
no.
the,
I watched this song called Apsara Ali, which she has performed, and that looked really fantastic. And it was more of wanting such kind of a song in the film,
right.
and her to dance for such a song in the film. That is how we contacted her and brought her in, and she turned out to be a wonderful artist.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the kind of energy she threw into the frame each time when she appeared was really great. So and the dance though amazing. It was the same choreographer also we got.
Right.
The Apsara Ali choreographer, Fulawa.
Yeah, yeah.
She only choreographed this song also.
Some of the scenes, the especially the night scenes, they reminded me of the lovers. They reminded me of
Yeah.
Talapati.
Yeah, yeah,
Certain aspects of it.
yeah,
So when you look at the directors that have influenced you
yeah.
in Malayalam, Tamil, Hindi,
Yeah.
whatever it is, what would some of them be?
Definitely, there's a subconscious influence of all these great directors, masters like Mani sir and all that. And I wouldn't say, I wouldn't pick up one or two of them, but there are a lot. KG George sir is all my favorite, all-time favorite. Padmarajan sir is there. Then we have this side of the spectrum where Joshi sir comes in, CB Malayal sir comes in, Satyanandigad sir comes in. Like, Thambi Kannandavanam sir comes in, K. Madhu. Like, the set of these, balance of these two-sided, like, one side is like very artistically made filmmakers like Aravindan sir, Adur sir, like amazing filmmakers. We had this mix of these amazing filmmakers where we could learn from both edges, and I always wanted to like make films somewhere in
In the middle.
in the middle so that both sides enjoy the film it is. And at the same time, it in Tamil though, when I had again a lot of films, Ram Gopal Verma was definitely a big influence at any point.
Yeah.
All those, and I don't remember a few filmmakers back then from Telugu when he used to make all those cowboy films and all that. And mostly when I don't remember the names of the filmmakers, I mean I remember the films and the style it had, the sound it had.
So you were this child or this young adult and then teenager who just watched an insane number of films.
Everything.
Everything.
Every
no,
single film.
like every language, every this or whatever came, you'd watch it.
Yeah. See, I'll tell you how crazy it was. Like when if I get a 20 rupees note, so I'll watch 10 films because when we get the lower level ticket in 2 rupees.
Yeah.
So every evening I'll go and watch a film, like for 10 days. So just the film, watching the film, like evening it is like that. Just
Were you a good student?
not so great, I would say. I've studied 9th standard for 2 times because the basics were not right, I felt.
Right. No, what I meant was when somebody sees so many movies, sometimes there's a chance that they're not interested in studies. So that's not like a.
No, not like that. I had requested my father that when I wanted to be in movies just after 10th was done. But he felt that maybe I should take that decision going a little more further so that it doesn't sound so immature.
Now, do you think that was right?
Of course, that is why. Because for different reasons, I would say. Because just completing 10th and going and assisting someone, maybe he thought if at all, if I felt after a few years that maybe I should move out of this place, that would be difficult at that point. So from his side, it was like more of a fatherly advice given.
Now, thinking back, if there was something different that you could do about the marketing of Malaikottai Vaaliban, what would it be?
I don't know. I wouldn't go back and think something.
If you could change something.
See, we would have more strongly maybe given a much more broader trailer or something which would explain the kind of pace and this in the film. There is always time, it is just 3 days out.
3-4 days, yeah.
So I'm sure people have understood what the film is all about right now. And I don't think I've ever explained any film of mine
Yeah.
of this sort.
You always keep running away when I ask you for an
Yeah.
interview.
But this, I don't want people to miss this kind of a film in theater because as a child, I remember like listening to stories about Sholay when it was released in 75 and watching it after 10 years in a theater.
Yeah.
So nowadays it's like, I mean, a film once it is gone out of theaters. So it will only come back maybe after 10, 20 years if somebody really would take that initiative to bring that back into a larger screen. So when it is on screen, please don't miss it. Me as a child in my 5th standard, I am requesting as a child that this would be like really damn good to watch in theaters with sound and visuals and dance and
Yeah, all that. No, one thing that you say really resonates because in those days,
Yeah.
there was a very good chance that if you missed a film in a theater, after 6 months they would play it again in a theater when there was no other film.
Yeah.
Because that's how I saw a lot of old
Yeah.
films on the big screen. But now there's so many movies
Yeah, you
that
don't
there is
have a
no
chance.
space for older films being shown.
Yeah.
I mean, now I think in Chennai, occasionally some films are being shown because
Very
there's
iconic ones. Like,
Yeah.
Swadigam came back after, say, 20 odd years.
Yeah,
So, such kind of one, that film will come back.
yeah,
But you don't expect it to, all the films to come back, okay? Even if you're watching it in a home theater screen, you won't be sitting with like 300 others.
yeah, yeah,
Then that is where the fun happens, no?
yeah. Actually, I have a little mixed feelings about it because at this Mumbai Film Festival
Yeah.
this year, one of the films that I saw was they had Aravindan retrospective. So I saw Chidambaram.
Yeah.
I've not seen it on the big screen.
Yeah.
I've only seen it on Doordarshan
Yeah.
when it came, right?
Yeah.
So I really wanted to see it on a big screen and I saw it. But it was very irritating to see people around me with phones and this and that and all that kind of stuff because this is a special kind of film.
Yeah.
And I don't know, sometimes I feel that I want a crowd, sometimes I feel I don't want a crowd.
Yeah.
It's like if you don't want this film, don't watch it, but don't spoil it for others,
Yeah, that though is definitely happening in a lot of the theaters.
Yeah.
Because when you just chit chat and you just make a hue and cry and some comments so that everyone's mood is spoiled.
Yeah.
So that though, so definitely when this happened with the shows which the first day happened. But at the same time, see, this is not like a meditative film.
Yeah.
Like, say, I would say that when Nanpagal, you should give it a very personal watch so that you enjoy it all the more.
Yeah.
But this film has its moments of, like cheer and,
Actually, it is a very joyous film.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, towards the end, yes, that gets it gets serious, but
Right.
there's a lot of, like you said, a lot of like a lot of larger than life joy.
Yeah.
And what particularly interested me was you don't find too many films that are in this mode where the hero has an existential crisis
Yeah.
of like what am I doing in life?
Yeah.
What is happening? Like, and then finally when it's almost like he gets what he asked for.
Yeah, right.
And that was the whole thing. Did the title come from a combination of Malaikottai and Malaikottai Vaaliban?
Yeah, of course.
That's what it is. I was
No,
like,
it's like, see, we had this iconic characters, like in Amar Chitrakatha also we have such names. Like, Tacholi Oden.
Odenan, yeah.
Such names will be
Yeah,
there.
which is made into a movie also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tacholi Ambu, Tacholi Oden. So such names. So you instantly want it to sound very hero-like.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a name and attached to something big.
Right,
Like Malaikottai, when you hear itself, you know that it's large.
right.
So that 70 feeling you get, na?
Right. So the sequel,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts about that?
I have a lot of thoughts. So, but the thing is, when I want this film to work really well, so that when we would be able to go into that. So that is one of the reasons. Again, I coming out and like doing all this, uh, like what is not regular for me, because I feel that these are the films which should be made for big screen, and which should be like like stay there for a while, like like cinema. I would say it's not. I wouldn't even call this like a very realistic, and I want it to look and sound and be there like cinema. Okay, this is cinema.
Yeah. I get the feeling that I have a theory, I don't know if it's right or wrong, that people are able to accept naturalistic cinema,
Yeah.
or they're able to accept larger than life cinema if it's made in a very typical mass mode.
Yeah.
But this is somewhere in the like
middle, yeah.
it's neither, right? It's mass,
Yeah.
but it's also not
Yeah.
like over, like like in a
Yeah.
like a punchline, punch dialogue kind
Yeah,
of thing.
get
There is
it.
something very
Yeah.
in between about this.
Right.
So maybe that's what, like, and I think Anurag Kashyap made a great point.
Yeah.
He told me he was doing the dubbing for the
Yeah,
Mohanlal
he's
character.
doing it, yeah.
Yeah. So he said that in a recent interview, he said that people bring their expectations to a movie and don't watch the movie that is on screen that they want in their heads.
Yeah.
And I think that's true of a lot of people these days. Like, how do we change this?
There's only one thing to say. See, we are actually inviting to watch a film which we have made. So it's most of the people, what they do is come in, watch the film, and say that okay, the script should have been this, the character should have been told this in this point. So, that is a different film which runs in your head.
Yeah.
And this is a film which we have designed, taking a lot of time, and you are invited to watch the film, enjoy the film. See, if you find a mistake, great. So if you are redesigning the film in such a way that would be wonderful. I mean, we would love to hear it at some point. But this is a very different film which ran in my head, and we structured it and decided it in such a way, bringing all of those people. I mean, made them understood what the vision is all about, and they all believed in the vision, and we made this piece for you. So now, I mean, it's not about mistakes, and it's about what is there.
Yeah.
And you are invited to watch it. And so there will be mistakes, I'm saying. I mean, which we also will be seeing. But, I mean, this is how you should watch it, I feel.
For example, when I watched Churuli,
Yeah.
it didn't work all that much for me.
Yeah.
Right? I love Ranpagal.
Yeah.
But this is a movie that just really struck me because it was so unusual.
Yeah.
So it was like a hallucinatory thing, like a hallucination. It was partly real, partly unreal. It
Yeah.
looked like something that was from the past, and yet you're giving all these very modern references, relatively modern references like
Yeah.
Sholay and all these other things. Where it's actually after seeing this that I was thinking maybe Ramesh Trippi's thought of Samson when he was like
The pillar
where the
thing,
pillar of whatever it is. So it's like that is kind of thing. But anyway, thank you so much for this film, and I hope what is I mean, it picks up. And it has
picked up.
Right.
That's what I mean. I feel really happy about. I mean, it's slowly picking up. With the weekend, it's definitely people have
Right.
watched it from a much more different light. So that's nice. And everyone craves to see Laletan in a different form, which they have not seen.
Yeah.
We have presented him in a form you have not seen him at all, and just see what he has done.
Yeah.
I mean, and just be silent and watch him perform. It's just amazing, I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, in a typical situation like this, when you have a film starring with a big star.
Yeah.
You have already sold it to an OTT platform. The satellite business has been done.
Yeah.
The audio, other states, etc.
Yeah, yeah, it's all-
So, from a production standpoint,
Yeah.
this film has made its money back. You're
It's not
only
like
talking.
that, yeah, we will break even with the kind of.
So, this is a very expensive film.
This definitely is. I don't know whether I can tell that whether it is the most expensive but definitely it is like a very costly film, considering an industry like Malayalam.
Right.
So that is what I'm saying. It's definitely the market forces when we can't like stand up to. Like we cannot hold it for 100 days and say that we'll do the business later. So we have to have a certain amount of security for the producers who are all involved and who are like fantastic people who never asked, like even requested for me to like change the kind of idea what we were going on. So for all that, when I would say that when let the film turn out into something nicer for everyone, so that when I can make the next.
The next is what, Lijo?
The next, if I say that, when how will I make it?
You'll jinx it, is it? Are you superstitious about that?
No, nothing like that. But when let it be like,
But it's not part 2 right now.
No, it's like, see, we have announced the part 2 in the end of the film.
Yeah.
But when what is it going to be? We have a lot of discussions around it.
Right.
But we have not decided. See, like I said, when we had like a lot of sequences in the film, which would have ran into like, a longer film, like a 4.5 hour film. So, we already have so much to tell. Just that we have not shot it. That's all.
Nice. So anyway, all the best.
Yeah.
Thank you for the interview and
Thank you so much. It was wonderful talking to you.
yeah, and it was wonderful watching the film. It was, one is if you're a film geek and you're spotting all these things, and plus the language of the film itself was so different that your and the structure, like I said, the chapter wise. Expanding in size and scope, all that was so wonderful. So
Great.
Thank you for this film, and also your screenwriter, I think, because both of you have kind of made this very unusual warrior film. And so and now you're going to release it in other languages.
So we are still have not decided which day when to release it and whether to release in theaters or not. Nothing has been finalized yet.
Right. So, all the best, teacher. Thank you
Thank you so much.
GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
Experience the next level of imaging with Vivo X100 series. Pre-book now.